And, and if you're not familiar with the channel, well, welcome. You're you're at the Adventure 50 late night live show that we do here every Sunday. So, who's here at the moment? I know we've got a few people in here. And how was everybody's Easter? Everybody have a good one? I know I had a pretty good day. I mostly did nothing. What's up, Caleb, buddy? How you doing? How was your Easter? The wife and I decided to stay home this Easter, and we just kind of hung out, watched sports and wrestling, and that's pretty much what we did all day. And my wife did a lot more work around the house than I did. I took naps on and off throughout the whole day, when I wasn't cooking. So there was that. What's up, Rolf? No problem, Caleb. I'm glad you stopped by to say hello. I appreciate that. And I'll be in your live on Tuesday, so that'd be cool. But I know Rolf and Bobby had family over. I saw Bobby's picture, so that was kind of cool. But just hanging out after the big feast. Yep, absolutely. I know this weekend I cheated on my diet totally. So hold on one second. I gotta check something. Be right back. You guys entertain yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, there we go. That's better. I was hearing an echo and I need to fix the echo. So echo is taken care of. All right, I'm back. So tonight I'm going to do something kind of cool. I picked out a random knife case. Help with gadgets. What's up, buddy? Appreciate you being here. So I picked a random knife case of mine just to kind of go through and take a look at what's in it. This is one of my cases that has 36 knives in here altogether. And I'm just going to kind of pull out some of the highlight ones that I really like in here. Oops. Never mind that crash. That was nothing important. Ugh. So first, we're going to start with one of the really cool ones that I have that I love. This is my hold on. This is the Concept Mini Main Street with the 80s fat carbon. Just a great little knife. One of my favorites. I just love the look of it. It's not a big knife at all. It's a little 3-finger job. About 2 3/4 inch blade. But it's a fun one. I absolutely love it. What I don't like about it is that the back side, the non-show side, has all the color. Because fat carbon can be random, there's not a lot of color in this. You got a little blue here, a little orange, couple of streaks in there, and some of the green showing through. So I was kind of disappointed when I got this, but it grew on me. I would have preferred it to have much more of the color coming through. Like I said, on the back side, it's going to be hard to see under this light, but the back side is way more color than the front side. But great little fidgety, second carry knife, fifth pocket knife. Not, these were a little overpriced, I think, but still overall a good knife. And now the prices have come down a bit because it's a little bit older now. But that's a cool one. All right. So this one here is another small guy. And this is the Benchmade Full Immunity. So It's again a little 3-finger knife, but I really love this one. I love the blade on it. Don't remember the blade steel. Oh, it's an M4 blade steel, and it comes with the lanyard and the titanium bead attached already. So I just left it. But hey, Kelly, glad you're here. But this is a fun one as well. Another small, like I said, another small guy. That again is overpriced for what it is, but I really like it. Again, this is the Benchmade Full Immunity, which is just a fun one. What's up, Waylon? Glad you're here. So when I stepped out of the room, I don't know if I missed anybody coming in, so let me take a look. Rolf, Caleb, help with gadgets. Gotcha. I just saw that, Caleb. Oh, feel better, my friend. You know, and hopefully everything goes all right. So, and let's pick out something else from this one. This is an interesting one. We all know about the Boker Kalashnikov automatic knife, but this is the Boker Kalashnikov that is non-automatic. It's got a flipper tab. So for people who love the Boker Kalashnikov but live in a state like mine where automatics are illegal, you have the manual opening. And this one's just a really nice knife. Brown Sugar, hello there. William, hello, welcome to the chat. So again, this is the Boker Kalashnikov in a non-automatic version. Check that out. Really fun one. Push button locking system. So really springs out there. Really good detent on this. Not that it has a detent, but really good action on it, I should say. And perfectly straight. Has held up pretty well. I've carried this one a bit. And for the price, I mean, you can get these for about 45 bucks or so. At least I got it on sale for like that much. And just a great knife. Really like it. Burnt Relic, what's going on? Glad you're here. So, let's pull out another one here. So, everybody knows this knife, but probably the larger version. This is the Kershaw. Brian White, hello there. This is the Kershaw Mini Iridium. Neil McKenzie, how you doing, buddy? And this one has these beautiful blue aluminum scales on them with the gold or copper accents, which I really love. My wife got me this one for Christmas, and I've carried this one quite a bit. And it's, again, not a big knife. It's about 3, I could get actually 4 fingers on this, but it's just under 3 inches and really makes a great EDC knife. And it just looks really cool in that blue. So, and does have the deep carry. Oh, it's not a deep carry clip, but it has the semi-deep carry clip that is reversible, which is nice. And you got that beautiful backspacer on there. Like I said, it's that copper bronze color with the copper bronze accents. Really, really nice. They did the light blue thumb stud to match the aluminum, but I think that would have looked better in the bronze to match all the bronze hardware, personally. But I like it. I like this one a lot. So the next one I'm going to pull out is one that, this is an interesting knife. So this one is a knife. It's a Guardian. And Guardian was a Walmart only sub-brand of Gerber that was sold a bunch of years back. And it's got a serrated blade on it. But this was like one of the first like non-slip joints that I carried for a long time. It's got a button lock on it, and the drop on it is not great because it's an spring assisted. So, but it pops out of there. I think it's like a 14, yeah, I think it's like a 1440A blade steel, but it's got that cool green accent on it around the pivot, and it's kind of cool. It's a tip down carry only, right-handed, but nice little EDC knife if particularly you like the serrated blades. I'm not always the biggest fan of serrated. I only have, I think, two in my whole lineup. But this is an interesting one. Like I said, this was only out for a few years. They did away with this series because, again, it was Gerber's Walmart only series. And again, it's called the Guardian. But not a bad knife. Also, too, it has that green backspacer on it. It's a nice looking knife, you know. So we got 14 people in here, 14 likes. I appreciate that, everybody. There are some, in this case, there are some gas station knives. I'll show you a couple of those. So this is a company here with this knife that, I don't know if it's a gas station knife. It's not really, but this is an Amazon low end, really inexpensive knife. And this is by Carami. And they billboard that right across the top of the blade. But this is one of those, it's listed as stainless, so I'm assuming it's like a 440A. It is a big chunker of a knife, and they actually give you a decent sharpening choil on it. It could be a 1440C. I really don't remember, to be honest. It's not on the blade. And it has weight to it because these are stainless steel handles. I love the look of this, even though this is a inexpensive, it's not, I wouldn't call them a gas station knife, but it's one of those lower end knives that you find on Amazon. I mean, these things were, I think this was only like 15 bucks. Press control. I'm not on a computer, so I can't press control and like, sorry. I do this from my phone. But yeah, it's kind of cool. It is spring assisted, so it's not going to be drop shutty. You got thumb deployment and you have your flipper. And again, this is a brand I've only seen on Amazon, and it's Carami. They have another knife that I have here because I bought this one and I kind of liked it. And I said, let me check out this other knife because it kind of looked cool. And this is also a Carami. So, and this one's got these kind of like copper accents, copper around the pivot. Again, spring assisted, kind of a, you know. And they did the same thing here. They billboarded their name across the top of the blade. But honestly speaking, this feels really good. You've got some great jimping here that comes up on the blade. Feels really great in the hand, you know. And this was another one that was like probably, I know it was like under 15 bucks. You know, Amazon kind of brand. But I like the other one so much. I was like, I had to have this one, and it's not bad. I mean, if you are on a really limited budget and you needed just a knockaround knife that looks decent, the Caramis are not bad at all. They're not what I would typically carry, you know. But again, if you're on a tight budget and you're looking for a knife that you could bang around that hold up pretty well, because it is a steel handle knife, so it's got weight to it. It's not. There's no cheap plastic on this at all. Blade is, I should say, the clip is not reversible. And again, this one's a tip down carry only. So, oh, and that's interesting. I should have shown that. Even though this is a steel handle, they put these black G10 inserts in there. So it's a nice looking knife for what it is, you know? Then we have this guy here. This is nothing special except that this is one of the Ozark Grails with glow-in-the-dark glow-in-the-dark scales. Let me grab a UV light so I can show you how that looks. I thought I had one here yesterday. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. No. I swear I had one here. No. All right. We'll just go grab one of those light from the other room real quick, so I can kind of show you how that glows. So just hang out, talk amongst yourselves. Oh yeah, we've got this too. I forget my head if it wasn't attached. Coming back, coming back, coming back. We're almost back, we're almost back. So we'll save this for later. We'll save that for later. We'll just put that over here. Slide that in there. Okay. So, put this on UV. I'm going to hit that with the UV light. So you see that kind of glowing? Again, that is the Ozark Grail with scales that have been replaced. Let me see if I can, I'll just drop this down for a second. Kind of get an idea of what the glow scales look like. And they glow pretty well. It's like it's not a green glow, it's more of a blue glow on these. But kind of cool. I don't know if anybody's into the glow in the dark. You can see the one side compared to the other, how well it glows. We'll just hit some light on that side. And again, that's the Ozark Grail with upgraded scales. I kind of dug that when I did it. I don't think I actually showed it on the channel before. So, there we go. Lights are back on. And then this, of course, is the Ozark Grail without the glow-in-the-dark scales. So you can kind of see them. I kept one original, swapped out the scales, and the other I thought was kind of cool. So, what do you guys think? You like the glow-in-the-dark scales? You guys are real quiet in the chat. Please just don't let me rattle on all night, because... Thanks, Brown Sugar. You know, so like I said, there's a lot of options now. I mean, who would have known that $10 Ozark trail knife would start a whole aftermarket community? Got them on Etsy. I just did a search for Ozark trail scales and found them on Etsy. They were like $10. Hello, Kathleen Smith. Welcome in. So another one that we have in here, it's kind of cool, is this guy here. I don't know if anybody was watching B's channel before, but he talked about the new exclusive Kaiser drops that are coming out. Well, this is an older Kaiser. This is the Kaiser Guru. And love this knife. I believe this is a Matt Deegan design. Just a really great EDC knife, and I love the green micarta. Yeah, Ryan, I think the glow is really cool. But this was the very first Kaiser knife I ever bought, and this is the Guru. I love that sheep's foot, shape. Really, really nice in the hand. No jimping though. That's a missed opportunity for me. There's just no jimping on top, but ergonomics wise, this is a great one. And you also have the choke up spot right here. So you can actually kind of really lean into that. But again, this is the Kaiser Guru, and clip is not deep carry clip, but not reversible. Wish they had made it so it could be reversed. That was one thing. I mean, a couple of things they missed on this, but overall, it's a very good knife. And I know this was a good seller for them for a long time until they discontinued it. And like I said, it's the first Kaiser I ever bought. Joseph S., hello there. Welcome in. So you are on Late Knife Live with Adventure 50. And what we're doing is we're going through, I picked a random case of knives to kind of go through what's in here. This is a mixed bag of really inexpensive knives and a couple of more expensive knives, but not anything too expensive. You know, this is, of course, one that I did a video on early. This is the Best Techman Dundee, but this was the Blade HQ. Oh no, this was the Knife Center exclusive that is in MagnaCut. I did a video on this because for $90 you could have a great knife that's properly heat treated by Best Techman in MagnaCut. And the Dundee is an excellent knife, one of my favorites. Really fine jimping on top, but it grabs, unlike some of the jimping that gets really slippery. Really good in the hand. And I haven't decided if I want to keep it white or if I want to dye the scales. But when I did this video, this is the video that caught Best Techman's attention. And it was after they saw this video, and this one got a lot of views, that it got a few thousand views on this one, that Best Techman reached out to me, and they were the very first company that ever reached out to me and said, would it be okay to send you a knife to review? And that was the Angry Owl. When that got released 2 months ago, they had sent me that to review. And it was all because of this one. They saw my review on this, they loved it, and like I said, they reached out to me, and I wasn't going to say no. And I'm glad I did, because the Angry Owl has become one of my favorite knives. That's not here right now, but check that out. If you're looking for a really nice knife in MagnaCut that comes in at the under $100 price point, right there, the Best Techman Dundee exclusive through Knife Center. And I don't get paid anything for saying it. It's just they're the ones who had it. It was their exclusive. So this is the only other knife I have that has a serrated blade. And this is in Marissa from Legion Steel's favorite color. It's teal. But this is a Flissa. This is a Flissa, their kind of version of a Benchmade bug out. It is serrated edge though, but usually they go put these things on sale. They're like $20. You usually can pick them up on a sale periodically for like $15, and really nice knife. It's just like the bug out. You know, you've got linerless. It's got just a small liner up here for the access lock, and it is an access lock. You know, drop shutty, flicks out of there really nice. The blade steel on it is an AUS 8, so it's not a great blade steel, but AUS 8 has been used for years. It'll hold up. You know, so if you're looking for an inexpensive, nice looking knife that's an alternative to the bug out, there you go. It's not a bug out though. It will never be a bug out. But if you're on a budget and you want something that's like a bug out, carries really light, I could see if you were hiking, this would be really useful because of the serrated edge on it and the blade, because I know a lot of hikers really like to count ounces, and this is extremely light, just like a bug out. This might be a good alternative. And I put that in one of the early videos I did, and people responded pretty well to that. And by responded, they responded with hate and with love. Some people love the idea, and some people are like, you know, it's a Flissa, it'll never be a bug out. I'm like, no, you're right. It's not going to be a bug out. It's going to be an alternative to the bug out. You know, I'm kind of a fan of Flissa knives. I know early on, some of their designs were, I wouldn't say, they never had, like, I've never really seen them make direct copies of knives. So they're not like some of the other companies like F and Grow we know made for a while direct copies of knives. Flissa never really did that, but Flissa's always kept things on a budget. Like this one. This is a budget knife from Flissa. This is a D2 steel, G10 handled, big guy. And this one is one that you can regularly get for, I believe this is D2. Let me not. Yeah, I believe this one's D2. This one you can get on Amazon for usually about $12.99, and then during holidays and when they have flash sales, it'll be $9.99. So you're talking about a $10 knife. That's a big size, D2. Clip is not reversible, and unfortunately, it's not a deep carry. But if you're looking for a beater knife, take to work, cut boxes open and that kind of stuff, it'll work. It'll hold up plenty fine for that. You even got a nice choke up point on there, and it's big. I mean, as I've told you guys many times, I wear an extra large glove, and this fits there like perfectly. And if I want to choke up, you got plenty of room to do that. There is no jimping on top, and I'm sure that's just a painted. It's not a PVD coated. I mean, how else would you sell it for that inexpensive? And it's a liner lock. Action on it's pretty good. It's also, you've got a flipper and you've got thumb studs, and yeah, that rocks out of there every time. So it's hard to fail it. So can't complain for the price. Like I said, this is a mixed bag of knives that we got here. This is inexpensive stuff, a couple of expensive ones in here. Very mixed bag of knives. Another kind of Benchmade bug out alternative is this one from CJRB. Again, that teal color. I have a thing for teal. And this one is the shale. Right? The shale. And yeah. RPM 9. I was looking for the steel. It's an RPM 9 blade steel, drop point, and another lightweight knife. This one does have liners that go through it, so it's a little heavier than a bug out, but you can kind of see where they went with it shape-wise. They knew what they were doing on it. It does have jimping and a slight little upswept, so it gives it kind of like a harpoon grip, which I really like. That feels really good there in the hand. It's, an inexpensive one. Although when these came out, they were around $50. I don't think it's a $50 knife, to be honest. I think this is one that could have sold they could have probably sold this one in like the $39 range, and I think it would have been a much better deal. But overall, I do like it. Yeah, that Flissa, I mean, you can't beat that one for the price. Jeez. And I have several Flissas because they're inexpensive. And I've been able to try them and do video content on them. Now, what do we have here? Let's see. We can pull it next. I don't remember what this one is. Let's see. Sativian. So this is a nice knife, actually. This is a Sativian. And I kind of like Sativian. They leave their branding to a minimum right there. And on the other side, they just kind of tell you what it is. It's a D2 steel. And the model on this one is an ST-137. And this is a big size knife. And you've got that same kind of thing where it ramps up here with the jimping. And it's got a flipper tab. And it's got these detents in here. I don't know what you want to call them. They're not actually thumb holes, but you can deploy it with them. They're not a hole at all. They just kind of a ground grooved out in there. So you can deploy it, and you can reverse flick it as well. But this is one that comes in probably $24 or so. In that range, $20. And it's a really nice blade for that price. And again, it's a Sativian and works well. I have a few Sativians. I kind of like them. A lot of people don't really talk about them much on YouTube. I don't know why. Then I have this one here, which is also a Sativian. What was that? So this is another Sativian, and this is a big chunker of a knife. Flipper, not thumb deployable, but flipper without studs, so it's flipper only, big guy here. And again, they do that ramp up right here, which I love. Really nice jimping on that. Great blade shape. There's another one that comes in about usually like $24.99. You can find this one. And this model here, because they don't give them names, is the 133. And this has that brown G10. It's textured. Beside having the grooves here, it's textured, so it's real grippy. I just like the feel of this knife a lot. There's nowhere to choke up on it, but it's such a big handle, you really don't have to. And they do give you a decent sharpening choil there. So this one's D2 as well. And just another solid blade by them at a really good price point. You know, Sativian does a lot. I notice I have a lot of budget knives in this pouch, including this one. And this one is also a Sativian, I believe. Yes, this is a Sativian. Let me show you this one. I like this one a lot. I carried this one quite a bit back in the day. Check that out. You got that beautiful red pivot collar right there. The green G10 on that. Flipper tab. And look at that blade shape. Beautiful clip point. Yeah, this is a little beast. I love it. You know, again, feels really good in the hand. They did a great job with that. The sharpening choil could have been better on this one. You got maybe one nice sharpening out there. But yeah, Rolf, very nice size on this one. And just a really solid knife. And like I said, I love that clip point blade on there. And D2. And the model number on this one is the 112. The Sativian 112. So liner lock. You know, not totally drop shutty, but also not bad at all. Kind of, you can get a nice control drop out of that, which is good. Sometimes if they're too loose, New Zealand Outdoor Blades, hello there and welcome aboard. What time is it by you in New Zealand? Just curious. Over here it's 11:32 p.m. I'm on the East Coast in the U.S., New Jersey. What time you got over there in New Zealand? Just curious. (3:30 p.m.) Oh, you're ahead of us. You've moved ahead in time. You're into Monday. We're still on Sunday. So this is one of my favorite knives. And this is the Aegis by SOG. This is the Aegis AT in that indigo blue handle with that yellow highlighter color on there. And this one is an assisted opening with a crossbar style lock. And that thing pops right out of there because of the assisted opening. It actually has a safety on here so it won't open up in your pocket by mistake. But really love this thing. And this one, it's just sub $100, like $79 you can get these for. I got it on a sale, but generally they're about 79 bucks. I really like it. The blade steel is nothing great. It's a D2. It's a Cairo Cairo treated D2. So SOG's D2, when they Cairo treat them, hold up really well. They retain a good edge. They're a little bit more rust resistant or corrosion resistant because of that Cairo treatment. But just a really nice knife and great to handle. The ergos are fantastic. And that jimping along there, fantastic. And thumb stud deployable. You know, it is not going to be drop shutty because it is assisted opening, even though it's the crossbar lock. So, and I know some people don't like assisted opening. It really doesn't bother me at all. You know, you just have to be careful because if you're in New York State, they consider assisted opening to be a switchblade. So, in New Jersey, perfectly legal to have an assisted opening. In New York, it is not. So I don't take this one to work with me because I do work in New York. And it's got that lock on there again, that safety lock. So once that's engaged, you can't pop this open in your pocket by mistake. So that is a nice feature. And really nice blade. I like SOG. I always have liked SOG stuff. But usually not their budget stuff as much as I like their more, I wouldn't say premium, but like mid-range to higher grade stuff. I think they do a good job. Let's see, what else do we have in here that's kind of interesting? This one of my favorites. I did a video on this one a while back. And this is one that my wife got me for my birthday. This is the Kaiser limited edition from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. This is the Chaos variant, the Loki knife, based on the Marvel TV series. So you've got this copper coating here with that green resin in there, with the blue pivot, with the copper around the pivot. Really nice. And this is the Kaiser Lieb series. I just think it's a really attractive knife. And deep carry clip on it. The clip is not reversible. So if you look, there's no way to reverse it here. And they didn't provide a copper clip. They kind of painted like a bronze color. So it's not exact match, but this is just a really nice looking knife. And I don't really use this. This is more of a collectible knife, you know, from the series. I would like to get the original one, which is the King of Chaos, or the Chaos King, and then this one's the Chaos variant. There were two in the series, and I'd like to track down the other one. I see them listed on Blade Binge periodically or on eBay, but they're going, because it was a limited series, they're jumping up the prices on them, and I don't want to pay that much. I figure I'll just keep looking until one comes around cheaply, and I'll pick it up. But just a nice knife. Another fun one, and I love that shredded red and black carbon. This is the QSP Osprey. QSP does some amazing work. You've got their logo right there on the pivot, and wire clip on there that is reversible. Deep carry, and boom, drop point blade on that. Just really nice. The drop point on this is a 14. Was that, what did I? Yeah, 14C28 on that. But another nice knife. QSP just does a great job. You got that beautiful jimping on top. Full 4-finger grip. The only thing you don't have, really, because of the flat grind, there's no sharpening choil on that at all. If you look at that, you're going to sharpen that right to the swedge there. Wind up with a smile. But overall, fantastic knife for the price. You know, this one, $60 range, I think, off the top of my head. Might not even be that much. I think in the shredded carbon, it's like 60. But I think you can get them in like a G10 for like 49 or something like that. They do jump up the price on the shredded carbon, but I think the shredded carbon looks awesome. I am a fan of shredded carbon and of fat carbon, as you guys know. You've seen a bunch of the knives on here. So, liner lock on that, by the way. Robert Willoughby, welcome in. Appreciate you being here, buddy. So we're just kind of going over some knives in a random case I pulled out, because I showed off all the new stuff between last week and last night. So this is one here. This is a Shieldon. The Shieldon knives are pretty cool for what they are. They make some nice stuff. I guess this is kind of, what model is this one? This is the Relicanth, or the Relicanth. And it's a D2, right? D2 on that? Yeah, D2 blade against the Shieldon. And just a nice, kind of generic handle shape. But you do have that raised kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, carving, milling on there. And really feels good in the hand. And again, they've got that if you notice, I'm a fan of knives that have this kind of harpoon on it, or ramp up with jimping that you can grab. I love, because I like to hold my knives like this when I'm doing, you know, cuts and whatnot. And it's big enough, you know, you can, hold it in reverse without a problem. Deep carry clip that is not reversible on there, but fun. You know, just a fun one. And another one that's inexpensive, and it's hard to see under the light, but around the pivot, they have a blue washer around the pivot, or yeah. So it's kind of gives it that nice blue and orange look to it. Really nice. I like this one. Shielded makes some good knives. I don't have a lot of them, but every one I've handled or I've owned, pretty good. You know, in the budget realm, decent knives. Let's see what else we have to play with in this. Um, I don't even know. Oh, what's this? Ah, you guys have seen this one. Maybe you haven't. What is this one? Yes, this is a Stat Gear. I don't know if anybody's heard of Stat Gear before. This is, again, this was a Kickstarter knife by them. Really great handle. It's a G10 over a steel liner with a black steel backspacer in there. And I did put this. This is actually a little light. That lights up. I turn that on. Oh, did the battery go dead? Ooh. Oh yeah, batteries went dead on this. I have to change it. But this is actually a little tiny little flashlight that runs off of a button cell battery. But really nice blade shape. Deploys very easy. Liner lock. This was one of the first knives that I had where it really sprang out of the detent's really nice on this. And they put their logo right there, Stat Gear. And I like it. It's an AUS 8, so not, a premium steel at all. Great jimping up here. And you can really get a good grip on this. But again, this is Stat Gear. I don't know if anybody really knows Stat Gear. Stat Gear makes some outdoor products. They're not really known as a knife company, but they happen to make this one, and I really liked it. And this was a Kickstarter I had backed. And they put out more on Kickstarter, but the other knives just seem very uninteresting to me. So I've stood away from them. Not that they're bad quality, because I really like that one. What do I got down here? What is this? Ah. So this is the Civivi, the Zizzle. This is the one that came out at Christmas time. That was a Walmart exclusive. It's very Elementum-ish. And this came with a multi-tool type of deal. It was $25 around Christmas time. D2 steel. D2, just a nice little guy. It's not a big knife, but it's a Civivi, and it's got that Civivi quality. There's no doubt. You can even reverse the clip on that deep carry clip. And I really like this knife. I should actually carry this one more because it's a really nice little knife. And the people at Civivi said, even though it was only available through Walmart, they said it wasn't Walmart exclusive. So I don't know if this is actually ever going to hit Civivi's website or not, or if they're just going to reissue it maybe at Christmas time again, like they did. Hello, Mind Milton. Glad you're here, buddy. So, yeah, it's just fun. This is a fun one. I did a video on this around Christmas time when I unboxed it. And again, this is the Civivi Zizzle. And this was only available at Walmart. I don't know if it's even available anymore to order on their website. I know they don't have it in the stores anymore, but it might be available on Walmart's website. Not sure. But Twisted Sis, hello there. Welcome in. Oh, Twisted Sis, I'm sorry. Nightbot doesn't like a lot of emojis. Loser, what's up? How are you, buddy? So, yeah, if you go on Walmart's website, you'd be able to track that down. Maybe they have some left. I don't know. They might be sold out at this point, but definitely worth it for the price. Let's see. What else is in this bag of many, many knives? We pulled everything out on that side, I believe. Nope, I don't know. Let's see what this one is. This one is flipped. Oh, speaking of F and Grow, here's an F and Grow knife. I don't know if this one's a copy of anything. I mean, it looks like a lot of other knives, but I don't know specifically. But D2 steel, F and Grow logo right there. And Buonani Ninja, what's up? I like this one. I like the blade, the handle shape. It feels really good. And it does a reasonable job of cutting. It wasn't the sharpest out of the box. I did touch this one up a bit, but it's just a touch up, nothing major, Let's check it out. It's only a short video, Lou. Take you a minute and a half, but that's what I was carrying today was the donut, was the Comrade, the donut shop one. Actually, it's not even, it's the crispy donut community. But yeah, this is the F and Grow. Another basic knife. This one, $22 price point, $21 price point in there. D2. I like the swedging on top of the blade. You know, just another good beater knife. There isn't, you know what kills me? Some of these companies, they put like a jimping here on the scales, but there's no jimping on the knife. And that does us no good. As you guys know, I've said it probably 3 or 4 times tonight so far. I like jimping on the blades. And there's not. There's nothing on that. So that will drive me insane personally. You know, I'm a guy who likes jimping. Give me my jimping. Oh, no worries. No worries, Illuminati. I appreciate that very, very much. So I will show you the most gas station knife I own, which is this one. This one just reeks of gas station and might have been bought at a flea market or something. I don't even know this one. But, oh, that's why. It's Tac Force. We know Tac Force is a gas station knife. But I think someone gave this one to me as a present, you know. And it is definitely gas station. But I keep in the question. And, I haven't pulled this one out in so long. I didn't realize this is actually a 3rd serrated knife that I have. But this thing's kind of, you've got your window breaker here at the end, your seatbelt cutter, your tactical style looking knife that is made of some unknown steel. And as it says on the back, USA design, made in China. So yes, it was designed in the USA, made in China. Sells for $6.99 on Amazon. And I believe, yeah, it's spring assisted. So you can't even close without 2 hands on that. I could see serrations if it's done on a decent knife. But this is just pure gas station. I mean, look at this on top. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. It's not jimping. In fact, if you slid your finger, like if you were really hard cutting and slid your finger on here, you rip your finger open. Those are all sharp. So you really need to hold this back here because if you're trying to choke up, you're not going to. You're going to hurt yourself. So again, the most gas station knife I own right there. But we'll have to have at least 1 or 2 gas station knives in our collection, right? Maybe. Let's see. Here's a couple of knives that I kind of like. And these are Ganzos. Ganzo makes a good budget knife. There you go. Access lock, thumb stud. You've got the big Ganzo Firebird on top. So it does have some big branding on there. I'm okay with that. I know some people hate it. But again, it's got that nice little ramp up here with the jimping. Full 4-finger grip. Actually, and like I said, I wear an extra large glove. If you have even a bigger hand than me, it'll still work. And I put that ridiculously long lanyard on it because why not? Yeah, it's I love all things pirate, so it's got the little pirate head on it. So, yep, and you've got the little Celtic bead right there with the Celtic knot. So the lanyard probably costs more than the knife. This is one of those $22 Ganzos. The model number on this is, I don't even know. It's so small, I can't really see it. Oh, FR 163. And it's a 440C steel, so it's not even a D2, it's a 440C. So it'll be much more corrosion resistant than the D2, but it's never going to hold an edge. But 440 is not bad. And it doesn't necessarily close the best. Even though it's an access lock, it locks up really well, but it's not completely drop shutty. It'll only shut to there, and you got to kind of close it the rest of the way. That's something that will fix itself, or I'll just take it apart and fix that. That just tells me it's a little bit over tightened in there around the pivot, most likely needs an adjustment. This is another Ganzo that I have, and This is kind of a cool one. You've got your Warncliffe on there. This is also a, oh, this is a D2. It's not a 440. So it's a D2. Nice grip on this one. You got your space for the lanyard. It's got your G10 backspacer right there. And it's just a nice looking knife. And it handles pretty well. And these generally are in the same price range, around $20 or so. Ganzo makes some decent budget knives. They really do. But a lot of them are copies of others. This looks like, I can't put my finger on what this looks like, but it reminds me of something. Kind of reminds me, handle-wise, of the Remet Rhino, but with a different blade. Just in time. You're just in time. So, glad you're here. Appreciate it. So yeah, this is the Ganzo. There is no jimping on top, so your finger's going to slide. But it's a nice looking knife. I mean, for the price, you know, it's a definite budget banger. Like I said, I kind of feel like it, handle-wise, it looks like the Remet Rhino. Huh, really? I thought they were still there, because I know they're still in the stores. And the last time, I mean, I haven't looked in a while, so don't quote me, but the last time I looked, I thought I saw Civivi. If you just type Civivi in the search engine, but I'm not sure on that. I could be totally wrong. Wouldn't be the first time I'm wrong. You know, it happens. These things happen. Unlike the Fonz, who was never wrong. And if you're of a certain age, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Kinda. I could see that. Yeah, kind of like cross between the two. Definitely. What else do we have? I know you guys saw this one already a few weeks back, but this has quickly become one of my favorite gentleman style knives. And this is the Gerber, the Affirm. Oops. It has that adjustable thumb stud in there, which I think I need to adjust it to my size finger. But it's got the copper handles with the copper insert. I actually bought this because I'm planning to shipwreck the finish on it. But I should say I was planning to shipwreck the finish. But I've come to like this knife so much, I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is. It's a great gentleman's knife. You know, liner lock. Not a deep carry clip, unfortunately, and it's not reversible because of the way the copper is set up. But if you're right-handed and you're looking for a nice looking knife that you can take to work, take to church, this is the one. You know, it's just a really nice knife. Flicks out of there nice if you get your thumb in the right position. Like I said, what's nice, that stud is adjustable. You can move it forward or back. So, kind of cool knife. Nobody's told me what they're carrying today. What are you guys carrying? Just curious. Like I said, I was carrying the Kaiser Cormorant that you saw in the video earlier, which is right here in this pocket. And that, you guys saw this last night, but I actually carried it today. You know, this is one I bought off of Brian from BEDC. Kubi Mizo, the Para 3 Light. You know, I don't have a Para 3 in my lineup at all. The Grismo Rask. Nice. So I carried that. The Rock Onyx. I had the Rock Fluorite that they sent me, which I really liked. I noticed a couple of people, like Eagle Scout, EDC, was talking about he had a problem with the knife they sent him. And I know BEDC had a problem with one of the ones, or was it Titanium Justin? I forget. One of those two guys had a problem with one of the ones that they were sent as well. But I also carried this today. This is the Watchman Nessmuck fixed blade knife in a 14C28 steel. Love this knife. This is just a great fixed blade knife for the price. I mean, these coming in around I want to say $26 or so. G10 handle, really comfortable in the hand. No place for a lanyard, but you don't need it because you'll get a full 3 fingers on there. and your fourth kind of rests back here. It was okay. It was BEDC. Yep. And look at that nest muck. I just absolutely love it. Bring out your Kaiser. Which Kaiser did you bring today? The Banish. You know, it's funny. I was watching bees before. While I was listening to him, I was on the Kaiser website, and I saw the Banish, and that's a small guy. I've always looked at it. It seems a little bit small, but as you guys see, I have a collection of large knives, small knives, everything in between. So I'd consider that one. I kind of like the look of it, you know. Put this one back in the pocket for now. But how do you like the Vanish? I'm just curious. It kind of looks to me like almost like a Barlow style handle in a modern knife, if I'm not mistaken on that. Anybody see those knives Bees was showing off tonight? I know a bunch of you guys were there. Those Kaisers, man, they only make it 20. Yeah, I don't know, Neil. Like I said, the one I got was absolutely perfect. And you can see it in the review that I did on it. In fact, I've carried that multiple times. It's become one of my very much in the rotation carry knives. So I don't know. I really like mine. I know it wasn't the sharpest out of the box. 3 or 4. Okay. Excellent, Justin. I know Weldon got his, and it was in great shape, but not sharp out of the box. And I know Miguel EDC got hit one as well, and same thing. It was built really well, just wasn't totally sharp out of the box. Mine seemed to be a little bit sharper than the two that they got, but still needed to be touched up slightly. And again, not resharpened, just a little touch up. I just stropped it a little bit and it brought it right back. So, and it's held up since. So I think it just out of the factory wasn't totally, I don't know if they rushed them out because, you know, that's one of the things about some of these Asian companies. They're producing these things in such mass quantities for the Amazon segment that I think they're rushing them out so fast. That's where you get the quality issues. You know, I don't know if I'm correct on that, but that would be my assumption because they have to produce these things, especially like the Ozark Grails. You know, 2 of them that I've gotten have been really great. I've seen others where the blades aren't centered, some where the locking system fail right away. What's up, Carl? Welcome in. You know, and I just think it's because of the sheer numbers of these things they put out on a daily basis that there's no way every one of them is going to be inspected and perfect off the line. So the Onyx is sharp. Gotcha. Yeah, so I think like I said, it could just be because they're producing so many so fast that there are some quality issues. I don't know. I really don't. It's hard to say. But when you have a knife company that produces so many knives, you know, I don't even know who the OEM is on a lot of these. You know, I know Ganzo does OEM work. Like if you designed a knife, you could bring it to Ganzo and contract them to produce a number of knives for you. I know they do that. I know, you know, Kaiser will do that but Kaiser does it in much larger scale. Like if you went to Ganzo and wanted to do just a limited run of like 100 knives, I believe they would do it. I've heard that. There are, you know, other companies out there that will, you know, they're kind of like knife mills, so to speak, where they'll just design, you know, whatever you can design whatever you want, and they'll most likely make it. You know, you'll have to deal with a few prototypes in between to get it right, but you can get it done if you want. I had considered a few times now, because like I said, I have designs in my head that I would want to have done. So I was thinking about talking to Route 10, you know, Mark, and I know he does CAD work, and I can draw these things up, you know, being a former artist and having a degree in art, or having gone to school for art, I should say, makes it very easy for me to draw just about anything I can imagine. So, and I've got some very imaginative things, but I want to do like a budget banger type of knife, you know, not far off from what the Ganzos are, the 704 gear type of stuff. I'd like to come up with something. And definitely a folding knife, not a fixed blade. There are just so many fixed blades out there. How am I going to improve on them. I don't think I can, you know. And every time I go to a show, I look at fixed blades and I see ones that I absolutely love, but after a while, they all start to look the same to me, you know. That's why the ones I have are kind of different looking, you know. Like the TCALs don't really look like other knives. They have their own feel to them. The waxed wing that I showed last night that I carry, that has its own kind of vibe to it and feel. But I found so many of them look exactly the same that if I took names off them, threw them on a table, and mixed it up, nobody. Yes, you know, there's nothing wrong with the barrette. Just got to say, you know, Jamie from Mythbusters, he rocked that barrette. So there you go. There you go. You know, and you know, Prince once sang about a raspberry beret. You know, the kind you find in a secondhand store. So nothing wrong with the beret. Oh man. So just off topic, speaking of art, and I was, you know, I did a lot of photography work. I had my photography business, and I worked with a lot of models who were building portfolios and whatnot. And I shot with girls who aspired to be in Playboy and stuff like that. And I've got to work with all kinds of models doing all kinds of photo shoots. But one of the ones I remember, this girl, Nikki, she was an art student and she wanted to do a photo shoot where she was wearing nothing but an artist smock and painting on a canvas. And you just kind of reminded me of that when you said you could see me in a beret, because that's what she had. She had a beret on and just the artist smock while she was painting, and I was doing the photos of that. So, but those aren't safe for work, so those won't be seen anywhere here. But yeah, those are the fun old days. But, you know, all right, we just passed the hour mark. I'm going to keep this one short because I was on for 2 hours last night, and I need to get some sleep because I wound up staying up last night to almost 5 in the morning. And then I got up this morning around 9:30, so I had like 4.5 hours of sleep, which is why I was sleeping on and off throughout the day. And I have to work tomorrow and I have to be productive. So I want to wish everybody a good night, and we'll wrap it up here. And I will say, until I see you guys next week, I'm sure I'll see you in other people's live streams. I'm sure I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm sure I'll see you Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And we'll be back again next Sunday. And if anything happens and somebody can't do their show, I might jump on again like I did last night, you know. But I want to say good night to everybody. Happy Easter. I hope everybody had a great day, and I hope everybody has a great week. And until we meet again, keep your blade sharp. All right, guys, gals, I appreciate it. I will see you in the next one. Have a great night.